of real estate and you feel like you're just not going anywhere, this episode is going to save you years because the mistakes that I'm going to walk you through today, especially with me and Sharif, these are things that we made mistakes on ourselves and we're seeing new agents make on daily basis. Nobody's going to warn you about them. Your broker definitely is not going to teach you them. Most agents are going to wait years to figure it out. Good morning, Sharif. How you doing today?
Good morning, Peter. How are
Great,
you?
great. So today we're talking about some of the mistakes that we see a lot of agents make in the beginning, and we're going to just narrow them down to five mistakes. We see a lot of agents starting out and they just don't know where they're going and nobody's just guiding them the right way. What are you seeing that they do really wrong in the beginning, and what do they need to see so they can get their business to the next level?
Yeah, these aren't the mistakes that you're thinking about, right? We're not talking about missed calls or pricing, a listing wrong. We're talking about the deep stuff, the patterns that get baked in early and quietly kill careers, right? So I think the first mistake is waiting to feel ready before taking action, right? It's people think that when you're ready, that's going to be like a timing, right? And people need to understand that, you know, you can't treat it like something miraculous is going to happen and you're just going to be ready at that point. You got to take the actual initiative, and ready is actually the process that you get along the way. So that's, I think, is the first thing we want to talk about is you'll never be ready. You have to take action first and then you'll get ready for it. Right,
Absolutely.
Pete?
It's one of those things where it's like, the chicken come first or the egg, right? A lot of people
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
take forever. They watch YouTube videos, they pay for all these coaches, and they just want to learn everything. And I've seen it, and I've seen it on people on our team, and they just never take action. They just know every script in the back of their book, and they sound great, on the phone, but they just don't make enough calls or they don't go on enough appointments altogether. And I tell people like watching all these videos are great, but you have to go out there. You have to fail forward because you're never going to learn the same as if you actually do it or somebody goes along with you to go to these appointments. Watching all these videos are great, but you're never going to learn until you actually fail and handle these objections in person.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, do you think like Kobe and LeBron waited until they were ready so they can start playing
My God.
basketball? Like there is no ready, right? And it's exactly what you said, right? People are waiting for more training, they're waiting for more scripts, they're waiting for more confidence. But the real deal is you just got to start making the calls and you'll get better along the way, right? And it boggles my mind when agents don't even try, right? They're just waiting, they're just reading all these like documents. It's almost like we always say analysis paralysis, and they never really start the process. And instead of trying to learn all the scripts and trying to get ready, say for instance for making phone calls, what you need to do instead is to commit to 5 conversations a day before you feel ready, right? So if you do that, if you commit to 5 or 10 conversations a day, you'll find that every conversation will get better and better. The next one will get better than the last. You'll pick up stuff from the last conversation that'll help you in the next one. And that's how you get ready. You get ready by actually taking
Yeah,
action.
for sure. And it's one of those things where people are just so afraid to look stupid or sound bad or just mess up altogether. And if you're going to get stuck in that mindset, you just might as well quit because you will look stupid. You will probably sound horrible in the beginning, but who cares, right? A lot of these people you're never going to see again in your life. And most of the time, they're even going to forget you called. So why do you even give them enough attention to let that take you down and not even go to the next step? Of course you're going to sound bad, of course you're going to get cursed out, you're going to get rejected, but that's all learning. That's how you learn and move forward and build confidence.
Yeah. For sure. And, I took a poll of the team the other day, and especially the ones that had call reluctance. And I tried to dig deep into why they weren't making the phone calls. And it's a reason why people, don't think about. Reason why people don't make phone calls is because they don't understand what to say, right? But the truth is, they also don't have the confidence because they don't have the actual experience doing it, right? And Confidence is built through reps, right? You got to get at bat. You got to try to keep swinging that bat. You'll get better at hitting the ball. It's not about preparing for, the actual at bats or the reps that needed. It's actually by taking the steps necessary to get to the plate, swing the damn bat, and get better along the way. That's what people need to understand. Even baseball players, they don't sit there and like, let me think about it some and try to learn about swinging a bat before I actually swing that bat. That never happens. They get out there, they swing at the bat, right? And if they miss, they try again, right? It's just like, one of our, mutual coaches says, instead of ready, aim, fire, ready, fire,
Yes.
then aim, right? So that's what we need to do because it's really about just getting out there and practicing, and that'll build confidence. And then you'll be more comfortable making that next phone call, and your call reluctance will go out the
So
window.
good. So good. I mean, hopefully everybody took notes of that because that was gold right here. And mistake number two, Sharif, what's mistake number two that you see a lot of people do still?
Oh my God, I see it all the time. And it really upsets me because all the details are there in our CRM system. But the fact is, not every lead is the same. There's going to be different styles of speaking to someone depending how they came into you, right? So that's what I find, and it's really frustrating, right? A cash offer lead is not a Zillow lead, right? A realtor.com lead is not an open house lead. You got to treat people differently depending on how they contacted you initially. And I struggle all the time with our team because all those details are in the first note, technically, in Follow Up Boss. So I asked them, please look at the source, look at the note, look at the actual details that came in, because that's going to give you the firepower that you need to connect with that person and actually build some type of a bond or a relationship. They're going to understand that you are actually responding back exactly to what their inquiry was in the process, in the way that it should be, depending on lead source.
That's really good because a lot of people get frustrated really quickly too, especially let's say they get a Facebook lead or a Google lead. And we're not going to treat that the same as a portal lead, for example, because the timeline of them looking to buy, and most agents don't understand the whole idea behind advertising and marketing. Like people are going to be in different funnels based on where they came from. So you can't treat every lead the same. Some leads that you are going to require a lot of more nurturing than others, and some leads are going to require just going straight to the appointment, right? And this is when you need to know, like, you got to talk to the broker, your team lead, and that's what the main reason why a lot of agents also fail because they think the solution to everything is just buying leads, and they're like, oh, I can just go buy Zillow leads, or I can go just do Facebook leads, or I could do whatever, but you really don't know how to treat every lead, the way that they should be treated. And you just end up wasting money and throwing money out the window. I'll never forget that one agent during our mastermind that we did in person. And he goes like, what is the best lead source? And I know Sharif, you flipped out.
No, he
Oh
said, if
yeah.
I had $1,000 right now, what
Yeah.
leads should I buy? I got so pissed about it. I'm like, you're not even ready for leads. Like, you need to have a system
Yeah.
behind it, or else you're going to have a bucket, right? And then you turn on the faucet, and there's a hole in the
Yeah.
bottom of the bucket. And it's great because the bucket's going to collect a little bit, but the rest is going to fall
Yeah.
right the hell out. And that's what you need to understand is like you have to have the systems and processes and understand where leads are, especially in the
For
sales
sure.
funnel, right? So, like, a Zillow lead might be down here. They want to see a property, right? They contacted you on a property, but a Facebook lead might be up here in a sales funnel. So you got to work them down the actual funnel. You might not ask a Facebook lead, hey, do you want to schedule properties to see? No, you're going to probably want to talk about introductory things like what brought you to that, clicking on that property. Are you thinking about selling? Are you thinking about moving? Rather than a Zillow lead, it's like, well, what time do you want to see 123 Main Street? So you need to understand the lead source, the lead type, or where they are in a sales funnel, which is normally dictated by what type of lead source they're coming
Yeah,
in on.
so good. So good. There's no need to for anybody to, especially in the beginning, to buy any type of lead until they have a system in place and a structure in place. And even better, really like a coach that tells them what to do because that same exact person was working a full-time job at the same time. So them talking about buying more leads and they don't even have the speed to lead down yet. They're just going to end up wasting a lot of money. And it just, they think there's going to be a magic pill or something that, they can just swipe their credit card for that will solve all their problems. And it's not that.
No, it definitely isn't. No, trust us on this. We've bought pretty much any
Yeah.
lead out there. And we understand, lead sources and also the mentality of those leads when they come into those sources. In addition to the lead sources itself, you also want to segment your database, right? That's one thing that I find that agents don't do. Like you want to segment it not only by source, but also, the actual temperature of the lead and straight up hot, warm, or cold. Like a hot lead is going to have, a different canvas than basically a warm or cold lead, right? So you want to understand that, a hot lead, you're probably going to have to reach out to them once a week or even sooner, right? Maybe once every few days, because those are the people that want to actually transact in 0 to 3 months. So you want to be top of mind. But warm and cold lead, you might not want to do those intervals of actual follow up. You might want to increase the time between follow up because they're less ready, but also providing more value rather than more reactive. Hey, do you want to see this? Let's schedule a tour. Let's schedule a seller's consultation. It's going to be more of nursing them into the actual, bottom of the funnel itself.
So true. All right. The next mistake. What is the next mistake, Sharif?
I mean, basically it's definitely isolating instead of plugging into a team, right? Or some type of accountability structure. I think accountability is probably one of the most important things in real estate. And a lot of agents out there, they just don't keep themselves accountable. They just go ahead and they focus on systems, they focus on leads, but they're not keeping themselves accountable or finding someone to keep them accountable. I think, that is probably one of the most important things because if there's no accountability, nothing really gets done. Right. So you have no one to report back to, no one's checking on you. So you might feel like, hey, I don't want to do something, but no one's pushing you to actually get it
Yeah, I
done.
mean, I find that the most successful people still have a coach till this day or part of a team or both, right? Because there's no way that you're going to succeed alone. And especially when we're talking about leads and systems and so many things, it's just very difficult for one person to figure everything out themselves. And, if you look at any top level athlete, they still have a coach till this day that watches every move and corrects them and gives them feedback on what is it that they're supposed to do. Not just that, they usually have a team behind them, a team of doctors, a team of coaches, a team of trainers. There's just a lot going on. And if you are looking to get to that top level, you need somebody to also have a second set of eyes on what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And I just don't understand why these agents just think that solo is going to get them where they want to go. It's never going to work. I know that for a fact because me and Sharif were in this together from, 5, 6 years ago when we started, coaching together and all of these things. And like, it was just like the best thing that I've ever done is just get coaching overall. Like I would have never been where I'm at today without Sharif's help and the other coaches that also I ended up hiring because it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, solo agents, they operate on motivation, right? But that motivation runs out. You need someone that's actually pushing you, that's checking on you, right? And honestly, like the truth is when agents that scale faster are the ones that are changing up the room so that they're the lowest producing agent in that room. Like we personally experienced this ourselves on our, with our team coming over to EXP. Our previous brokerage, we were the biggest fish in that sea, right? There was nothing challenging. There was nothing, really keeping us accountable anymore. I got tired of being agent of the month for like 36 months straight, right? There was nothing left after that. And honestly, like we built our own accountability. And that's in combination of different things that we have on our team. From our morning huddles, we keep our agents accountable. We talk to them about their issues. We guide them to like, making the better decisions. We even have a squad structure where our team's broken up into mini teams and each mini team has like a squad leader that actually guides their agents. And normally that leader is doing more production than agents that are actually within their squad, right? And they provide them mentorship. And that's what we really need to do. We need to find others that are doing more than us, right? You shouldn't be coached by someone that's doing less production than you, right? You should find someone that's actually doing more than you so you can try to strive to get to their level. And that's why you got to change rooms, right? It's all about the rooms that you're in and finding those people that can help you get to the next
I love
level.
that. It's so true because, you can't stay comfortable, right? The next level of the success that you need to be at is going to require you to be uncomfortable. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're at in the business. There's got to be a next step. And I believe that if we're not growing, we're going to be dying. Like we have to be growing. I don't believe in staying the same is a good thing. I think that's also us going downhill, but we have to always be growing to the next level and not being around different people. Like let's talk about like the event that we went to last year, Sharif, and everybody around us. I think we were the lowest producers in the room, where before the previous coaching organization, we were probably the top, right? So it's the same exact thing from brokerages to coaching organizations too. Like, I felt like, I'm a freshman again, all over again versus being at a different level altogether. So
It's a
yeah,
way different feeling when you're in that room because there's so much to learn. There's so many to learn from, right? And that's really what pushes you forward. And you're right, Pete. Once you get comfortable, you stop growing. And once you stop growing, you're pretty much dying in this business. You always got to be growing in this business. And really, to do that, you got to get around people that are going to actually challenge you. And growth is essential if you want to succeed.
so good. Mistake number four. What's mistake number four, Sharif?
Oh my God, I see it all the time. I see it every day. It's those agents that think that social media is going to build your business before you actually have conversations, right? And the truth is, social media is a great tool. Like I'm going to be the first to tell you, like we built, a lot of lead sources through social media, right? Different ads run, even organic, things of that nature. But social media helps build your brand over time, right? It does take time to actually build that, and it doesn't really generate immediate income. It's there so people can reference, like here, when before I meet someone, I usually search them, right? And I'll search them on Google or search them on social media because I want to learn about them. And that's what it is. It's basically like your online billboard, right? It's like a documentary about you where people can learn about you. And that gets built over time. And really, it's all about, doing the hard too, making those phone calls to people. And I can tell you, like when I first built my business, it wasn't on social media. It was on my sphere of influence. It was about the people that I know. And that's what every brokerage starts off teaching you. That's what they stop teaching you, right? They stop there too. They only focus on sphere, but I think sphere is definitely the way you want to kick off your career and then use social media as a catalyst to get it
Yeah,
going.
it's so true. A lot of people just want to do TikTok videos and do all these crazy dances and think that's going to get them clients, but it's not. And the thing is, most people are not consistent enough because it's going to take a really long time. I tell people social media is a very long game that you have to play where you might not see results for a very long time, but I treat it more of a nurture type of tool, not a lead generation type of tool. And like you said, more of a documentary about you. When people go and visit your social media, they see what it is that you do and your success and everything else. But more than that, like if you're going to use it, don't just post videos and hope that it's going to work. You have to take the initiative to send messages to people from social media, people that interact with your post, people that like your post. Like I do that till this day, like, because at that point, like, what's the next step? It's just like any other lead. If somebody visits your website, and this is how I look at it, social media, if somebody likes my stuff, it's almost like a lead visiting the website and clicking on a link. But we have to obviously reach out to them, see what is it that they're inquiring about. Do they like this property? Do they need more information? And social media is exactly the same way. Somebody likes your stuff or comments, just go say hello. Thanks for following us. Thanks for supporting our post. Just curious, how's business going? If they're a real estate agent, if that's a buyer or a seller, hey, are you looking to buy or sell? You have to have these interactions with people that are coming to your social media site because it is the same thing as an IDX site that they're clicking on and looking at web properties, right? And it's not the only thing that you got to do. This is just in addition to everything else that you're supposed to do. This is not going to replace your lead generation, your cold calls, your follow ups. This is on top of everything. And if you have to build that CRM system first and have the structure of cold calling and following up on daily basis, and then put time aside to social media, because it's not going to replace everything else.
Yeah, we're not anti-social media, but it's all about
Yep.
sequencing, right? And instead of social media, this is what you should do instead, right? DM before you post, right? Call before you caption, and conversations first, content second, guys. Like it is like a secondary, right? Or even a third thing that you should be doing just to support one and two, right? So that's the key is it's supportive marketing. It's not the primary marketing. And that's what people are really confused, and they think, "Oh, well, I posted so much content, I'm not getting anything." That's because you gotta do all the other stuff, right? You gotta DM, you gotta make those phone calls, you gotta have those interactions with people as well. And, that's something that we've done recently even is picking apart anyone who's liked and commented and actually, reaching out directly to those people. It's just like you said, Pete, it's as if it was a portal, right? And that's great if you have a website that generates 300 leads a month, but if you're not reaching out to those people, then what's the point of that
Yeah.
website, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just people just need to learn more. And again, like I think a lot of it is not their fault. It's just that they're not being coached properly and trained properly. You guys definitely need to be looking at the right people to help you and support you in this business. Sharif, what is the last mistake that you typically see? And I know there's a lot of other mistakes, but we're focusing on the top five for today.
Yeah, I mean, letting one bad month, one bad week, one bad day rewrite
Yeah.
your story, right? You just got to shake it off and move ahead. Like you're going to have those bad times. We're going to have deals that fall apart or things happen that you don't want or an irate client. I mean, don't let that ruin you. You just got to brush it off and just keep on moving forward. And really, it's people confuse like a bad month, week, or day with a bad career. In reality, that's part of it, right? There's no such thing as mistakes. There's just learning experiences. You got to learn from it and just move on.
Yeah. I tell a lot of people too, especially when we first interviewed for them to be on a team, I tell them, this business is not for the weak. You're going to go through a lot of turbulence emotionally, especially, and you have to learn how, emotional intelligence and bouncing back quick, because it's not going to be all sunshine on rainbows every single day. You're going to get kicked in the face and punched in the face regularly, not literally, but in a way where your clients are going to stop working with you. They're going to fire you for whatever reason. If there's a valid reason or not a valid reason, they're still going to feel that you're not doing a great job, and you're going to get rejected. Deals are going to fall apart. It sucks, but it's part of the business. And you have to expect that that's going to happen. And you have to learn to bounce back quickly. And the only solution to that is getting more clients. And if you have enough people in your pipeline, if you lose one client out of 10 or 15, it's not going to feel as bad as if you only were working with two people and now you lost one client. That's 50% of your business gone. Right. And that's one of the things that I preach on daily basis about with the team, because I've been there myself in the beginning. I had my own family members use another agent when I first started. And the first thing that we got to look at is like, hey, did I cause anything? Or maybe I wasn't supportive enough in the beginning with them, or maybe I wasn't reaching out and even let them know that I was in the business altogether. Like you got to really look and see what is it that you can learn from every situation.
Yeah, for sure. And, the truth is, the market is seasonal anyway. And momentum's actually built in cycles. And your pipeline in December dictates, what you're going to be doing in January. But you shouldn't be focusing really on the results. You should be measuring your activity instead, especially in your first couple of years, right? I know that, the results kind of dictates your commitment, but in reality, you should be measuring your activity rather than results, because your actual activity is going to produce those results. So if you measure that, then you actually understand what results you're going to get. Like for instance, right? If you make 100 phone calls, you book 3 appointments, right? That's measuring activity. Those 3 appointments might lead to one listing, right? That's a result. We're not measuring results, we're measuring activity so we can increase activity or know how much activity is needed to provide certain results. And that's where I think people or get hiccup a little bit. And you have to understand that it's your habits and activities that actually determine what your outcomes are going to be.
But well, there you have it, guys. I mean, every agent that's winning right now made at least two or three of these mistakes. The difference is that they caught it and corrected it, right? and he kept on going. So if you did make these mistakes, you got to know that you have to keep going regardless. If you're new or you know someone who's going through this, please, please, please share this episode with them and comment below so we know that you like this type of content, because this could definitely change your business to the better, and it will change somebody else's business to the better. And if you do like this content, please make sure that you follow us on our Facebook group and share this with a friend. And we'll talk soon, guys.
Have a great day, guys.